We're learning more about the actual hero police officers as who are being honored this morning for taking down the shooter, ending the massacre before it got worse.
31-year-old Michael Collazo, right there, is a Marine Corps vet and a former firefighter who responded to the Christmas Day bombing in Nashville back in 2020. He is the father of a young girl himself.
And then there's 27-year-old Rex Engelbert. He was one of the first ones there on the scene. He received a commendation for precision policing just last week. Fox and Friends Enterprise reporter Lawrence Jones is live at the scene in Nashville. Lawrence?
Hey, good morning, family. We saw the video that was released from these two hero cops. They did it, what many experts say, was just a textbook style, direct to threat, just precision. They were taking on fire, as we heard from some of our sources yesterday. They could see it from the helicopter of the constant gunfire on these officers. And you can hear the officers really take command, saying, go, 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 let's roll, let's roll. Real heroes, and a lot of people in Nashville are thanking them because they truly saved other lives.
And Lawrence, you know, it is amazing that the police would put out the video, and that video just shows you how brave these guys are and how smart they were about going, because they could not have gotten up to that location where that shooter was any faster and probably saved some lives. And when you see that they were able to do it in just about 10 minutes, it flies in the face of what happened in Uvalde, unfortunately, when the police, you know, willy-nilly didn't respond in this fashion for over an hour.
Yeah, as you guys know, I covered that, and I think the best comparison I can make as someone that was on the ground there, you know, the local police in Uvalde told a story that wasn't really true about the officer going to pursue the person. This is what they thought they wanted to do. These guys in Nashville did it. They didn't just think it.
Exactly.
I mean, I just cannot explain in more detail how precise they were with this. I mean, it's one thing to talk about going toward bullets. It's another thing to actually go toward them. And they did that.
You know, I was also, when you watch the video, the school handled it, it looked like, in a proper fashion. The police drive up, they get their guns out of the back of their trunk. They walk up, and someone outside that has a connection to the school says the shooter, it looks like, is inside. It sounded like they said shooter's upstairs. Someone was there outside to hand the cops the keys. They unlock the door, the cops saying, three, I need three of us. They run in, and if you look at the timeline, they arrive at 10:22 a.m. By 10:27, she was dead. They show them going through classrooms on the first floor. Then they hear some gunshots upstairs.
Just running.
They run up to the second floor, and there's an open area, and that's where they find this shooter. And she's dead within minutes. It says that Rex struck the shooter down immediately. Yes.
Yeah, can I just explain why they did that? Ainsley, back in Columbine, they had this strategy of clearing classroom to classroom. But what happened was, after they cleared each classroom, they ended up in the center, and that's where you found all the deceased children and the gunmen. And so that's why they changed it to go directly to the threat immediately instead of trying to clear each classroom. It's to save lives.
Right. I want you to read. So one of the officers' older sister said this about her brother, Michael Collazo. He obviously is very brave, braver than I ever imagined. He really does love his job. When I sit and think about the training and all the different classes that he does and all the family events that he had to miss because of training or leaving to go through the training or his class, it really does pay off. And the other thing to point out, too, is the other officers who were with them, you know, they were the first one to come on him. They shot, they take him out. But the bravery it is going in, knowing that the other person has a gun and it's going to be an instant reaction. You don't know what you're going to find. And think about this, Lawrence. In Uvalde, we heard they waited for shields. We want to wait for shields. These guys didn't wait for shields. They said from the time they walked through the door, 4 minutes later, the shooter was dead.
Yeah, they didn't just wait for Shields. They lied on and told reporters that they engaged the shooter when they really hadn't engaged the shooter initially. So, again, the thing that impressed me about that officer right there was the amount of control that he had. It's one thing to go engage the person, but he was leading all the rest of the officers, telling which doors to clear, which direction to go toward the threat. There's a lot of awards. I mean, we have the Patriot Awards, we have the Blue Awards every year. I'm sure these officers are going to be strong contenders for that.
No
point.
kidding. Lawrence, thank you very much. And as we pointed out, one of the officers, Officer Engelbert, just won an award just last week. The police chief said that the shooter's parents felt that their child should not own weapons and believed that she did not have any. And one other thing, the Daily Mail has got an exclusive today that says the shooter was rejected by her parents who could not accept that she was gay and trans. Her mother, Norma, who's a church coordinator, and her father, Ronald, refused to let Audrey Hale, who now recently identified as Aiden, refused to let the child use he, him pronouns or dress as a man in their home, so he'd wait until they left home to change outfits. And the police chief said there was other information that perhaps other family members were targets as well.
The Daily Mail also said the shooter had high-functioning autism, and they said that the officers raided the home and they found 2 more rifles that were taken from the house. And we heard this yesterday. The police said that she harbored resentment about having to attend this school as a child. I'm curious to find out too, and I'm sure this will be released. The head teacher apparently was on a Zoom, heard the gunshots, went running toward the noise, and she was killed. Her name is Catherine Kuntz. And then the custodian, Mike Hall, how did he get involved? We heard one of the little girls pulled the fire alarm.
Right.
Another little girl was the pastor's daughter. Were they targeted? I would imagine probably not, because it's hard to identify a 9-year-old child, especially when there are a lot of kids in the
President
classroom.
Biden,
No single person was targeted.
They said no single person was?
No single person.
before they entered the building.